Our understanding of music begins with an understanding of notes, where they are on the fretboard and how they're named. Now, trying to keep things very simple, there's really only 12 notes. Now, I suppose they could have just used numbers to name these notes, such as note number 1, here's note number 2, note number 3, so on and so forth. Instead, for some well thought out reasons that we'll go into at a deeper level later, they went ahead and just used the first 7 letters of the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. These are the symbols or names that we use for notes, just the beginning of the alphabet. Now, we use the first 7 letters of the alphabet, but I said there was 12 notes. So right now we don't have a name for all 12 of the notes, we just have a name for 7 of them. So that's where sharps and flats come in. Let's keep it simple and just start with sharps. We just use sharps to tell us one pitch is a little bit higher than another pitch. For instance, if I know this is an A, the pitch that's a little bit higher than this is an A sharp. If I know this note is a C, I know the pitch that's a little bit higher, or the pitch that's next up on the fretboard, is a C sharp. So in between all the letters in the musical alphabet, there is a raised note, or a sharp note. There are 2 exceptions. Between the letters B and C, there is no sharp, and between the letters E and F, there is no sharp. But if we remember this exception, and remember that as our rule, it will be easier for us to remember the musical alphabet. So the rule is there's no sharp between B and C or E and F. B and C, E and F. B and C, E and F. I gotta memorize that. So once I know that, and I realize that there's a sharp between everything else, but not between B and C and E and F, I can begin to recite the musical alphabet. I can start with A, so the next note up would be A sharp, then B, and here's my rule, there's no sharp between B and C, so right after B comes C, then C sharp, D, D sharp, then E, and again, here's my rule, E and F, so straight to F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. So again, the rule is everything has a sharp in between it except for B and C and E and F. So we can use this rule as sort of a slow, painstaking way to figure out where we are on the fretboard. Let's start with this top string. We know this is the open E string, so the open string is an E. So the first fret must be an F because that's our rule, E and F. After F comes F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Again, here's our rule, so the next note is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E again. So here we are on the 12th fret. This is an E. Well, we already said the open string was E. What's the next note on the 13th fret? Well, there's our rule. There's no sharp between E and F, so the 13th fret must be an F. And then F sharp, and G sharp, and A sharp, and B, and there's our rule again, so the next note is C. So does the musical alphabet just repeat itself over and over across the fretboard? The answer is yes. Like I said at the beginning of this lesson, there's only 12 notes, and they just repeat over and over on the fretboard. And yes, I am oversimplifying a little bit, but this is the right place to start to understand this concept. So come back and watch the next lesson. We'll learn the names of the open strings, and we'll practice this concept a few times just to get an idea of how to assign names to the notes that we're playing on the fretboard.